World of Warcraft is completely changing in the new expansion. One of the biggest things about World of Warcraft add-ons are kind of going away. Blizzard has realized that most people don't really like the fact that you can make the game look like this, and is preventing you from doing so and instead making it look like this. I guess that's a little bit better. Now, don't get me wrong, the fact that we're actually getting all of the add-ons that we used to have in normal World of Warcraft, like bigwigs, time reminders, and so many more things inside of the normal base of the game, so you don't have to install add-ons on top of it, it's a great thing. And even though a lot of people are very scared about the future of World of Warcraft because of these add-on changes, I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I want people to be able to play World of Warcraft without having to install a lot of add-ons. I want someone to go into World of Warcraft and understand how the game works without having to configure too many things. I want someone to be able to look at someone's UI and not think, wow, the game is being played by the add-ons that you're using, and instead think, wow, this player is playing very well and I get what's happening right here on this game. But I also think it's very reasonable for people to be very scared about these changes in terms of accessibility for people who can play the game normally, and also for their normal customization that allow them to play their video game the way they want it. But is this possible? Can we actually have our cake and eat it too? Have a video game that doesn't require any add-ons while still allowing some customization for accessibility and just enjoyment purposes without destroying the game, and also making it so encounters are trivialized by add-ons? Let's talk about it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing we're gonna have to talk about is, why is this an issue? What is the actual problem here? Add-ons are pretty cool in World of Warcraft. They can make you, for example, have the Guild Wars 2 UI, which I really love. Or making it so your inventory is not super annoying to deal with. Those add-ons are not going away and are completely okay for the game and for Blizzard. The add-ons that are gonna get removed instead are add-ons that give you some sort of advantage. And sometimes they're not even getting removed, but instead replaced by a Blizzard version, so you don't have to actually install the add-on in the first place, but still have the functionality. Most fights in World of Warcraft are kind of scripted. There are specific attacks that the boss do that are just gonna go off at certain points in the fight. You can see this in the right here, that I have a timer that tells me toxic regurgitation will happen at certain points, and then it moves to the left saying, oh my god, 7, 6, 5, and this makes it super easy to understand what's gonna happen and prepare for it. This will be replaced by a combined timeline that Blizzard has given us, and you can see here how there's a little line, and it just counts down until the mechanic happens. Plater is also getting removed and replaced by Blizzard. What Plater does is that it gives you customizations upon nameplates. You can change the colors, show up debuffs and buffs on the nameplates, and also information about which abilities should be interrupted or not. This is very useful, especially in a game like World of Warcraft, where a lot of the information is portrayed in the nameplates. So we can actually use this without having to install it, know what things to interrupt, what things not to interrupt, and the interrupts themselves are becoming easier, so this distinction and gameplay is easier to understand. Class mechanics that are also too hard to understand without an add-on are also getting removed, so you don't need them anymore. From the next expansion, some abilities like Roll the Bones, for example, require you to use an add-on to understand how it works. Otherwise, it'll be impossible to actually track your buffs and how you want to use them. These type of things are getting out of the game, so you no longer need this kind of add-ons. All of these things are being added by Blizzard, and I'm sure there'll be add-ons up top of them that will be able to give us a little bit more customization to make them look in the way that we want, so we can be comfortable and fill in the gaps that Blizzard can't fill. But what about Weakauras? Right now, this information is easily accessible through the API, combat data on real time, that makes us be able to do the things that we can do in this game. Like, for example, the Weakauras that tell us what mechanics do in each of the bosses. This works because we have the information. That information connects to the Weakaura add-on. If someone gets a buff, a debuff, or a certain mechanic, it can show you what to do, what not to do, if you're doing something correctly or if you're doing something incorrectly. Right now, there is no add-on like Weakauras that would indeed give us that information in the new WoW UI, which means that Weakauras themselves will no longer work. That's a good thing, right? We don't want information about the mechanics inside of the game. The game should just be easy enough to understand that we don't need this, right? Why do I need a huge font in the middle of my screen that says Soak Frontal where I know that Soak is being displayed in the screen? The mechanics should be clearer, so we don't need these Weakauras to supply the information instead, right? We shouldn't need player to tell us what things to interrupt and what things to not interrupt. We shouldn't need Weakauras that tell us what mechanics our class needs to do or use, which buffs to track, because we have the cooldown manager from Blizzard and the classes are not so convoluted that we need a big add-on to tell us what to do. We shouldn't need timers on our screen because Blizzard gave us a good UI setting that shows us in a immersive, fun, and clear way for when the abilities happen on each boss. We shouldn't need add-ons to install to be able to play the game optimally. The problem is, this is already the case. Right now in World of Warcraft, honestly, every mechanic is pretty clear on how it works without add-ons. You really do not need them to know what's happening, what to do, what not to do, especially not in a significant way that requires Weakaura's add-ons to tell you what to do. Do I really need the information to Soak Frontal right here? When the information is right beside, I have a huge triangle on the bottom and I cast them on the nameplate. Do I really need this information? Are we really saying that? Well, the game is clear enough. It shows you what the mechanics do and they have very particular tells to tell you if you're doing it wrong. Dimensions is a perfect example. It is one of the hardest fights in the entire game, maybe the hardest ever made, and you don't really need any Weakauras to actually deal with this. This mechanic right here, you have to hide in a pool to make you invulnerable to the actual boss, and you can see that the Weakaura tells you that you're safe. It's in the middle of the screen because it's very, very important, otherwise you'll get one shot. But is it actually really needed? First of all, you can see that they're inside of the circle. They obviously are safe. But whenever you're not safe, you'll start getting pulled, as you can see right here. And as soon as you're safe, it stops. Every mechanic in Dimensions has something like this, where there's a big circle, some push and pull. It shows you, it tells you that you're safe or not with these little tells. You don't really need this big thing in the middle of the screen. This applies throughout the entire raid, and honestly, the entire design of what Blizzard has been doing throughout this past few years. This didn't used to be the case. You did need Weakauras and add-ons back in the day, but now you can just play the game by just watching the mechanics, learning them, and that's it. But darn, if that was the case, then why are people complaining that these add-ons are going away? Why is there such drama behind this? Well, that's exactly why. Because people still use this when the game is perfectly clear. People don't use these add-ons because, oh my god, without them, there's no way we can actually kill this. It's because it makes it 1% easier. Is it easier to know that you're getting pulled and that you're in the correct position? Or is it just easier to see a big green text in the middle of the screen that tells you that you're doing okay? Probably the latter. Is it easier to see that you're standing in the incorrect spot, getting hit by a thing on the floor? Or is it easier to just hear a ping while you're playing this that tells you that you should probably move out? Is it easier to remember that at 30 minutes into the fight you have to press a special ability, put it on a notepad, put a stopwatch to know what happens and when to press it? Or is it better to just have it in the middle of the screen counting down for you? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what the answer is there. And this kind of sucks because it makes the entire game just a bunch of nameplates, squares, timelines, and boxes of text that tells you what to do, and makes it way less immersive and interesting to watch. Being able to just play the game normally without these things would indeed be super cool, even for the people who play this competitively. It would make the game easier to see, easier to watch, especially for something like the world's first race, and it would at least feel more accessible. Notice that I said feel there. So then this is good, right? We're gonna get rid of all of this. The game is gonna be easier to see. We're gonna have no text in the middle of our screen, none of these timelines. Everything's gonna be nice, fun, accessible, and immersive, so people are gonna be happy with it, right? Right? Sadly, we're playing World of Warcraft, guys. Things are not that easy. When the player base is told that you can't do something, they're just not gonna stop doing it. They're gonna find a way around it. A friend of mine, for example, is already working on an overlay that will be able to do most of the things that Weakauras do already without having any of the information that Blizzard gives us right now. It would instantly be able to tell you in what order to do something if there are multiple people who have to do a mechanic. It would tell you where to go to play something. It would be able to do all those modern orbs one at a time. It would be able to order these star killers on a Nexus King as well, and do the entire fight on Fractalus by ordering where to put every one of the walls. Which kind of sucks because fights like Fractalus are super fun to do without add-ons, and they're completely doable as well. But why do it when you can just optimize it in this way to make it faster, easier, and more effective? The problem of add-ons is not the add-ons, it's the community. It's what people want to do, how people want to play the game. They want to win. If they have to go in there and use an overlay, they absolutely will. It'll be annoying. It'll be a bit less good than what we have right now, but people will do it because it gives you a little bit of an advantage. Even if the advantage is this small, just having a thing on the screen that tells you what to do, even though you probably could do it anyways, yeah, they'll do it. Well, what do we have to do? Do we have to get rid of the competitive scene? Do we have to get rid of all these people that try hard the game so the game can be back to casual and not have all of these weird add-ons? Oh yeah, this seems like a great idea. Just do the same thing that Nintendo has been trying to do for years and not succeeding at it at all. I always have found it very interesting how people love competitiveness in Smash, but in WoW, not so much. Look guys, if you don't like add-ons, you can just disable them, okay? And then tell me you can't. Not on Modern Blizzards, not on Modern WoW, you absolutely can. We just talked about it. So is it over? Is there nothing we can do? Is there nothing Blizzard can do? Because as soon as they do something about it, we're just not gonna care and are gonna use a tool that there's no way in hell that Blizzard would ever be able to prevent us from using. Well, I think there is an actual solution to this. If you guys don't know, back in the day, you could actually zoom way further in World of Warcraft. This gave people an insane advantage, especially on very hard fights, because you could see more of the arena, making you be able to position correctly and plan out your position as well way better. Blizzard ended up nerfing this because, well, it made the game look a little bit like an ARPG when it's an MMORPG. Yes, it was useful, but I mean, at some point, the immersion and enjoyment of the game is more important than being competitive. But people complain a lot. So much that it was reinstated. You could go back to zoom out as much as you wanted. But did they actually? Well, they indeed retracted the nerf, but they made it so you can zoom out a little bit less. This made it so people don't really see that much of a difference. They're happy that Blizzard backtracked, but they still were able to say, hey, we want this game to look like an MMORPG, not like an ARPG, so we're slowly moving towards this. And people kind of accepted how the game looked this way. Now, of course, it's way harder to be able to zoom out in the game with an overlay. You can't really do that. You would have to hack the game, but people accepted it and didn't complain about it anymore. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen with add-ons. Blizzard should absolutely do all these changes to add-ons. They should give us this new timelines, this new cooldown manager, all this stuff, and prevent us from doing a few little things. So the game is a little more consistent with everybody, while still having a little bit of this customization. People won't complain as much, the game will move in the correct direction, and we won't have the issue of overlays because it'll be so annoying to do compared to the little upside of having just a little bit more customization that it won't be worth it. Make this Weakaura so good that the difference is negligible. I was listening to this podcast with Max talking about the add-on issue, and he said that he doesn't want to do overlays.
But if someone came to me and was like, okay, instead of us YOLOing Smolderon orbs, we can break the TOS and cheat and have this mechanic specifically be more repeatable on... I mean, let's say it's an even harder Smolderon. Let's say it's on a 300 pull boss, so it actually would be very strong, right? There's no fucking way. Like, there's literally no way we would do that. You are risking your entire relationship with Blizzard. It's gonna get out, by the way. You're gonna just fucking... You're gonna keep that forever. What happens when one of your players quits or gets recruited to another guild or doesn't care anymore, or it's 5 years... You're risking your entire relationship with Blizzard, which, by the way, really fucking matters. Like, whether they fuck with you or not, and your entire competitive integrity is just gone. Like, that is not worth it for Smolderon.
I mean,
if the top doesn't do it, it's way less likely that people on the bottom will actually do it with this little amount of upsides. It is on Blizzard to give us something that replaces all these add-ons very, very well, enough that the upside is not worth hacking or going against the TOS, and they're gonna have to achieve this, but this is the way. Give us something very good, make it a bit more restrictive so it's not unhealthy for the game, and just keep at it. Make it better. Change the things that need to be changed so this works out. Give us a solution for everybody. For the competitive gamers, for the casual gamers, for everyone. But there you go. Can they actually do this? Will they actually do this? I guess we'll have to see. But I think it's very important to not stagnate. And I do think that Blizzard is super badass for trying to do something like this for no reason at all. The game would be fine without this. Still with add-ons, still people will still play it. Yeah, they would have some people complaining about add-ons, like they always will. They always will. Even after this, they'll complain about it. But realistically, they're one like, no, we're gonna try and make things better. Because that's who we are. I think that's very respectable, commendable, and pretty awesome. And makes me want to just, hey, play the game more. Because if they care, how could I not care? Well, let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. And watch my 3K on one button only tank series. And yeah, see you guys around. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.